Our State of the Program series rolls on here, Cart, and it's your program. The Michigan State Spartans are who we are going to discuss today. If you want more from this series, if you like this video, go check out the others because we're doing this for basically all of the top 25 programs in America right now, teams that we're very interested in. We've done Purdue and Illinois so far for Big Ten teams. Michigan State was third on our list, and we will see where they stack up. No spoilers. Purdue scored very highly. Their number is going to be hard to break. That makes sense given how exciting things are with Purdue right now. We move to the defending Michigan State Spartans, the Big Ten champions, defending Big Ten champions by 3 games. 5 categories here. We're each going to grade on a scale of 1 to 10. I have 50 points to give out. You have 50 points to give out. At the end, we add it together, and the higher the score, the better. Could be 100 points total if they grade perfectly. Here we start with category 1, returnees. If they return everything of note, they get a 10. If they return nothing of note, they get a 0. What grade are you giving Michigan State?
So obviously, Michigan State lost a lot of their production last season. They lost Jace Richardson. They lost Jay Nakins. They lost what's Buddy's name that went to NC State?
The floor defender, the logo general?
Yes, what's Stiggy? Jigathon? Yeah, we lost Jigathon. So we did lose a good amount for sure. But there
Xavier
was some
Booker,
Xavier Booker
most
as
recent
well.
McDonald's All-American in the program.
Yeah, but there was a level of retention. Kept the floor general, kept Cohen Carr, kept Jackson Kohler. Not saying those guys are necessarily going to leave or anything like that, but we did retain them. Carson Cooper as well. So
Frankie Fiddler's in the G League
Frankie Fiddler also left.
or
Sizemon
somewhere.
Zapala is playing for some Polish national team, I believe, or at least at the tryouts. So there was a good amount of exits to the program. I am gonna go ahead and say I'll give this I'm gonna try not to be on curve here because it's my school, but I want to say a 5.
Lost a lot, especially for a program that doesn't usually lose a lot. Now, Jay Nakins was graduating. You knew you weren't going to lose him, or you knew you were going to lose him. Jace Richardson, by February, I think it was pretty clear that he would leave, and that's a testament to the program. So I'm not even really dinging them. I think you've got to ding them a little for Jace just because that wasn't in the plans, and
Mm.
it's going to be felt that you lost Jace Richardson after 1 year. But the much more interesting part of this to me by far is that you had 3 players transfer out. When has that really ever happened? Even in the portal era, I get it. Every program loses players, but Michigan State normally beats everybody in that regard. You don't usually, even the role players, they don't normally leave, and if they do, it's kind of a went wrong thing. Say what you want, Garrick Normand. I don't think anyone's worried about. Say what you want about Book. I don't think he's going to be good at UCLA. But looking back on his tenure at Michigan State, it's hard not to call it a failure from both parties that you couldn't get more out of him and that ultimately he's at a rival Big Ten program now. And by far the biggest one here is Holloman, right? Holloman is supposed to be the entire culture. He was the entire culture. He's the guy who most embodied the Spartan dog mentality until he didn't. And I would say this, I get that I'm a rival fan. This feels like a moment in time to remember because I think Holloman's really the first guy that has ever been that for this program and then chosen to leave it. I think that's a bigger loss than people are making it out to be, culturally more than on the basketball floor. But he also would have helped his team on the basketball floor. He would have started at the 2 and I think been really important to this team. So, I mean, he killed Michigan. Both games he played Michigan, he torched us. Had no answer. So, for me, I'm going to give it a 4. There is some unique elements to me giving it a 4 because, for a more different program, this would be normal, the level of attrition. For Michigan State, I don't think it is, and I think that has to be factored in here. So 5 for you, 4 for me on the returnee score. Let's move to the next category. It's departures. Oh, gee, we just did that totally wrong. We just graded departures.
No, what are we graded returners?
No, we graded what they lost. That's departures. We're supposed to grade what's returning. So now we would talk Jeremy Fears and Cohen Carr. The good thing is we can just put the scores we just put on category two. That was departures.
All
Now
right.
let's talk about returnees, what they actually bring back. Our brains are broken, folks. I'm sorry. Jeremy Fears, Cohen Carr, Jackson Kohler, Carson Cooper, Kerr Tang, Nick Sanders, and the Walton twins are back, and redshirt freshman Jesse McCulloch. So 8 bodies that were in the locker room last year. 3 starter level players, I would say, in Fears, Carr, and Kohler. Technically 2 starters because I believe Cohen was off the bench last year. Carson Cooper going to step into the starting lineup as well. Kurt Tang, a guy you still believe in. What grade do you give the returnees?
I give this an 8. I think you bring back 3 starters. And 3 starters from a team that won the Big Ten by 3 games. You bring back your point guard, you bring back Colin Carr, you bring back Jackson Kohler, who I think is ready to take a step. Um, Me going into an 8 does have some belief in Kurt Tang as well, and we'll see what we have with Jesse McCullough. But I think bringing back 3 starter level players from a team that won a lot of games warrants this to be an 8.
So here's my thing. We don't have the benefit of this being the first one we do. So now I'm kind of looking backwards and looking at other ones we did.
Mhm.
You and I both gave Illinois a 6 for returnees. They also returned 2 starters, but their starters are Tomislava Visic and Kylan Boswell. Why are they a 6 if Michigan State's an 8?
Because those starters didn't win anything.
These are the champs. It's a fair argument.
Champs and threes more than two.
It's a fair argument. I'm going to go 7. I think double or 2 more points ahead of Illinois wouldn't make sense to me because Ivisic is awesome, and that's better than anything Michigan State returns. So, but I think it's a lot. It is a lot here. It's a good grade for sure. They return more than most programs do. Fears is going to take a step. I'm not a Fears guy, but he's going to take a step. Getting Cohen Carr back is bigger than even skeptics like me would say. Because I think he could have gone the Holloman route. I think he could have gone elsewhere and asked for a bigger role and bigger money, and instead you got him back without question. I think the front court's in a pretty good spot, even though you lose Booker because of what else you returned. Kohler's going to be productive. So, yeah, good grade here. 8 and a 7 from us so far. Maybe I could just take your grade and take 1 point off it every category at this point. Let's go to recruits. Michigan State's incoming freshman class features Cam Ward and Jordan Scott. It's a 2-man class. Both kids are top 60 players, 4 stars. Wings, 6'7" and 6'8". Jordan Scott, a shooter. Cam Ward, more of an all-around physical presence. Two very good players in theory that should be big parts of this program for years to come. It is a small class, and their immediate impact is relatively unknown on a team with all the other pieces that we talked about. What would you grade the recruiting class?
See, now it's small, right? And you just don't know what the role is gonna be. I think maybe there's a more of a clear role for Cam Ward. I think given that he's the higher pedigree recruit, but also you don't know what he's gonna be used as positionally by Michigan State. So I like Cam Ward. I like Jordan Scott as a multi-year player, and Cam Ward, another player who I like. I'm very intrigued to see what his role is. But it is small and role's a little murky. I'll give this a uh, 3.
Wow, that's low. Really low. Not where I expected you to have it at all. So I think my baseline here would have been a 6. I think Cam Ward's going to be really,
Really?
really. I think Cam Ward's going to be really, really good, and I think Jordan Scott fits too. They'll have use for Jordan Scott on a team that needs shooting. Um, it is important to note this could also be part of the vibes conversation when we get to that, but I think it's important to note we're grading last year's class, not recruiting overall. Because if we were grading recruiting overall, this would be a 10. Everyone's ecstatic with where Michigan State is recruiting right now. There's so much momentum going forward. So we'll probably speak to that when we get to vibes in a moment. But I think this class a year ago, people kind of hated it, right? You thought you were in for Jalen Harrelson, and I think you were sniffing around Braylon Mullins and multiple other guys, and nothing came to fruition. You end up with Warden Scott, and people were disappointed in that. So I can see why you would land on a 3. Maybe I'm being shaded a little bit by the overall vibes, but my baseline, I believe Cam Ward's going to be awesome. whether it's this year or in the future, he's enough for me to feel like this class is a 6. You should get multiple years out of both of these guys. And I'm going to bump it up 1 point. I know we're going to talk about in the vibes, but I'm going to go from a 6 to a 7 because I think there's so much recruiting momentum right now that this should be a 7 for Michigan State.
I'd like to bump it to a 4 because Cam Ward hugged Tom Izzo after a rebound in practice.
That's also okay. All right. So 7 for me, 4 for you for recruits. We move to transfers. Historically, Tom Izzo has avoided the transfer portal as much as he can. This year, there's 3 players that come in via transfer. Technically, 4. The first is Trey Fort, who is going to play a huge role on this team. Step into the shoes that Jace has vacated. Divine Ugachukwu from Miami is another ad. Denham Wojcik, son of Doug Wojcik, who's on staff, is another ad, played at Harvard. And the missing piece here, which I think belongs still in the grade here, is Caleb Glenn, who absolutely would have factored in on the wing from Florida Atlantic. He is out for the entire season with a torn patella. So, how do you grade this? It's tough with the Glenn injury. I think that's a pretty big blow to what was a pretty great transfer class by Izzo standards.
Yeah, I think with Glenn, I probably would have had this somewhere in like the 6, possible 7 range, just because I think Trey Ford is going to end up being a lot better than maybe some people think, or even I thought coming in. I just think that his what he can do scoring wise, I think is going to add something to the team, and we need someone to do that. But obviously, not having Glenn hurts this. I think I would put this because of that. I'm just going to stay in the middle and say a 5. I like Glenn. I like the ad. I like the ad of Fort. I'm just not a massive ad of Ugachukwu or Wojcik.
Okay, I think I'm grading in a positive way on the Tom Izzo curve here. Because if this was a Brad Underwood transfer class, it gets a 2 for me. I don't think there's a guaranteed good starter. But this is more aggressive in the portal than I think we've ever seen Izzo really be. I mean, Fort's a high pedigree guy at minimum that we know can take a lot of shots. He also looked awesome in Moneyball, and I may be wrong on Trey Fort even with my Buckyball concerns. If Glenn is healthy, like I loved Caleb Glenn. He was my favorite player in this transfer class, and I thought there was a world where he was Michigan State's best wing and played the most minutes out of everybody, Cohen Carr included on this team. So, losing him really stings. Beyond that, to me, I don't expect anything from Ugachukwu. I don't, but at bare minimum, he gives you a secondary ball handler that can back up the point guard spot. So, yeah, for me, I think I'm going to give it a 6, and I think I might be positively grading that on the old Izzo curve. But to me, Fort and Glenn is a pretty impactful class, even though Glenn is now out. You can't really ding Izzo for that. Final category here is vibes. Curious to see where you go here. You are the defending Big Ten champions, won the league by 3 games, pantsed Matt Painter, pantsed Dusty May, pushed these boys off the logo. Like pretty much all things are coming up green and white right now, but you could convince me that, I don't know, there's not a 10 out of 10 here. What are you thinking vibes are for your team?
Carry on and Arba. 10. 10. Vibes are high. Remaining Big Ten champs. 3 games. Jace was special. Got our point guard. Got Cohen Carr. We love our team. Whether I'm skeptical about them or not, the vibes around the program in general are extremely high right now. You put in recruiting, putting everything going on around it, winning the Big Ten last year, Tom Izzo doing the Tom Izzo thing, bitching about the transfer portal. We're playing all the hits right now, baby. All the hits. 10 out of 10 for the vibes.
Okay. So baseline 5 for me, that's how I operate with the vibes. Baseline 5. Plus 3, 1 for each game you won the Big Ten by. Now we're up to an 8. Plus 2, 1 for each game you won against Michigan. Now you're up to 10. Minus 1 for the position that Trey Holloman wants to play, and that's why he left y'all. I'm going 9. That's where I'm at. I totally respect any Michigan State fan who wants to say 10 out of 10 is how we feel. I can't imagine if you were all strapped to a lie detector test, you would actually believe it's a 10 out of 10 after losing the heart of the team Holloman guy.
Losing the heart of which team?
I get we're going to pretend he meant nothing. I think that was a serious blow to vibes in East Lansing. And we can say it's not. I don't know how the season will go, but it's the first and only time I've seen a guy who embodied the Spartan Dog for Life culture that was allowed to kiss the logo before he even graduated because he's the only guy who's ever meant that much to the tradition that is Michigan State Senior Day. Just abandons it all and we're supposed to act like we didn't care. I can't imagine that's real. I'm giving you a 9. You are the champs. Vibes are high. You believe Tom Izzo could take 5 bendy straws to a Big Ten championship right now. And honestly, I kind of believe you. 9 is a great vibe score. It's better than Illinois. In the end, we add this up, and Cartel, our overall score is 65 for the Michigan State Spartans. Spoiler alert, that's tied with a different Big Ten program that we already did.
Interesting.